Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Commentary is Magic's presentation of the Adventure Top Cut rounds from BABSCon 2024. I am once again Cursed Chords.
And I'm Pancake, and we're here to bring you the best of the best this year at BABSCon. The top 8 of Adventure, a format we haven't seen in cards for quite a while.
Actually, we saw it yesterday.
Well, yes, but we are finishing up the tournament to see what the reigning champ shall be.
Indeed.
That said, we did the boogeyman of the format was defeated twice, so that's good news, bad news? Meh.
We shall see. Yeah. Um, I guess Grandpa's is the only player who we know is playing Mill. There are a couple other participants in the top 8 we haven't seen the deck list of yet, so there may be a few others out there.
Yeah, but I don't think there's that many people invested. We've got a lot of people who play their pet decks, and of the people I saw on the top, I didn't see anyone else whose deck I didn't know who might be running Mill.
Yeah, that seems about right, probably.
And I'm sure we would have heard from the floor of another Mill deck. So, um, either way, the question is if it will just steamroll today and what our top decks will be. With the big surprise, of course, being the Chrysalis Changeling aggro deck yesterday.
Yeah, I uh, I was not expecting to see that all of a sudden make its way into. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see it at all, frankly, but to see it make top 8, even more impressive. Um,
I, not just top 8, I think it was top 3. It might have been top 2.
yes, top 3, third place, well, third
Yeah,
seed. Yeah, which
followed by, I believe it was Instagram's Farm and Bugle's white white aggro.
yes, yeah. Which now that I think about it, um, changelings were a thing in Adventure. I do remember those actually having had some success in the past. I don't know necessarily with Chrysalis Main, but I'm pretty sure Changeling Aggro had actually been doing okay-ish in Adventure in a few recent events. And granted, a few recent events is like stuff from last year, so no surprise that maybe we didn't think about it.
Yeah, I know this isn't the first time I've seen it, but I never seen it do well in go anything beyond like 2 and 3 or 3 and 2 kind of formats. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely got some unique tech, and those Timbles are very terrifying for being a one cost bunyip that you don't have to frighten.
Yep. Don't forget that calming one either.
Yeah, which we saw yesterday was devastating against the Crankoshy.
Yeah. So, just to give a rundown of the top 8. Yeah, we mentioned Bugle, Instagram, Fizzban playing the Changelings. Then it's Grandpa's with the Mill at 4th seed. Ivory playing Thorax at 5th seed. As number 6 is Kevin. We didn't get to see his deck on stream yesterday. And number 7 is Cheese. I don't think we saw him either.
No, and then Ara we saw at the end. I think our second to last game, he ended up losing to Instagram for with the farm list.
And Nara's playing Cadence.
Yes, the mono pink variant.
Yeah. So, on the floor, I think they're just doing the deck checks right now. That'll take a little bit of time. In the meantime, since we know the seeding, we know what the matchups of the quarterfinal are going to be. Starting, I guess, with 1 versus 8, that's Bugle versus Aura.
I actually don't know that that goes to Bugle so easily. Pink's got a lot of disruption, and Bugle's white power tends to build up a lot on a single friend, so it might not be so simple for Bugle to just do his big double confronts by playing a bunch of events and whatnot.
Right. With a hand, but with a deck so cheap as Bugle has, it kind of feels like Bugle might just kind of run out of cards, while Aura will have card draw from Cadence to rely on.
Yeah, if Ara can actually get Cadence flipped this time. He had a heck of a time with it in Instagram. I think they were at 14 points before Cadence got flipped.
Mm-hmm. Should probably have an easier time of it against Bugle. I guess like so Bugle has like the summoning bells and such. He can try to do a bit of a slower game plan too, which might work better against Cadence.
That's true, but like relying on resources is always a danger against a deck that's got decent clear options. But maybe Pink doesn't actually have too much. I didn't get a full list of auras, but maybe it is just the belly flops. I didn't think I saw anything else beyond that.
Yeah, yeah, that you mentioned it. I mean, usually you'd see like Chaos Blast or in Adventures. There's a couple other Food Fight maybe. Um, I don't think we saw any others in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But that'll be one to look. I would not be surprised if Ara upset Bugle on that, just because Ara is the slightly bigger deck than Bugles, and that tends to be, by theory, what you want. Is the deck that's just got a little bit more value but can keep up the tempo.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense.
Uh,
So next, sorry.
Yep. Next seed would be Instagram on that farm versus Big Cheese on an unknown deck that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. Even in their video they posted, Cheese didn't have a deck list in the description. So
Huh. So that could go any which way. Um, but if it is any kind of a mid-range deck, well, Instagram will have the main advantage there, depending on what Cheese is built for.
yeah, like I guess the rule of thumb with Cheese usually is that he plays whatever he thinks is going to win, regardless. So
With a tendency towards control.
yeah, which we haven't seen a whole lot of control in this tournament, right? Which I guess makes sense. Everyone was expecting it to get destroyed by Mill.
Right. Anything that was reasonable control. But actually, you could call Fizzbands probably the most controlly deck, I think.
Just because of Chrysalis? Kind of, yeah.
Chrysalis, and there was a couple other actually running some troublemakers. There were actual cards to slow the opponent down a little bit here and there in it.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. Right, there
But
was.
that's without knowing Cheese. There's not really much to say outside of Orange Farm seems to have been doing really well, and Instagram was even surprised by it yesterday how well the deck seems to be doing.
Hmm. Then number 3 is Fizzman with the Changelings. He's playing against Kevin, another deck that we have not seen before.
My bet is Kevin is running a Bluna of some sort, but that's not necessarily a guarantee. But I would not be surprised if that was the Bluna in the top 8 this year.
It would indeed be extremely surprising if there was no Bluna in the top 8.
But maybe there is no Bluna, and we've passed the time of Bluna, and she has just fallen slightly by the wayside.
I refuse
Which
to believe
is
it.
which is a bunch of nonsense, but maybe maybe we have entered strange times.
So yeah, again, maybe not much to say about that one unless we know the decks. Which means the last quarterfinal match that we know of is Ivory and Grand Paws. That's Thorax aggro versus the Mill deck.
And the interesting thing, we were theorizing who GP lost to yesterday, and Ivory was one of the possibilities outside of Bugle. So it could be that this is the grudge match between the two.
Yeah, most certainly. And Ivory, of all people, would have known that the Mill was coming, of course, and been intimately familiar with it. So, of all folks to have a chance, could be.
Yeah. It'll be a fascinating thing to see how things run and go, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out in the end. Oh, hold on. I wonder if GP's other loss was to Hithrock.
With the puck wedgies?
If there's that many puck wedgies, oh, I guess he just mills himself out. But like then he's out of running resources down low. Do you think there were enough puck wedgies that he just couldn't be milled and was just able to counter mill through raw sheer deck size?
Don't know. I feel like if Hithrock had been the guy to beat GP, we would have heard about it.
I mean, he got to win off someone, so.
We know he got to win off someone. This is true.
And that just seemed to me to be the most likely deck that there is a available win off of. Because it does force the mill deck to eat itself in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, there are routes through that where if you get the counters off of Raise This Barn, you can eventually just kind of aggro your way out once you get your Octorets into play. And naturally, Pukwudgie has no counterplay. So Grandfathers could, in theory, have plotted his own course through his deck in that sense, in that game.
Yeah, for sure. But when it's what, a threat a turn, and the threats are 3 cost, 4, 5 power, if not more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not inconceivable to go, hey, Pukwudgies just gets there eventually.
It does get there eventually. Yeah, there's no question about that.
But either way, I mean, we didn't have anyone dropping that we were aware of. Everyone was able to play.
I think we did have one drop. Because there were 16 and Hithar got a bye at the end, so there must have been.
Right. It looks like, yeah, Mayo at some point dropped, but not out of our top 8.
So far as we are aware, that has not been the case. So yeah, Oh, that's interesting. I guess that every member of Sim is actually in the top 8. So I'm not sure who's running the event now that I think about it.
It's a tier 2 event, so technically one of them can be a player and judge. So because this is not a tier 3 event.
Right. I suppose Hithrock can be our point of contact in any case.
Yeah. And I think Hithrock got the bye. That's why he won. Yep, that makes sense because of that last match.
That's right. Yes.
That's who Pukwudgies won up against.
An empty chair.
Poor Hithrock. Poor Pukwudgies. Give us our thrumming stone.
So yeah, we will let you know as soon as we know who our first match on Steam is going to be, and of course provide updates on the other rounds as they go on.
are we missing any major colors in the top? Like, if we had to fill things out, we've got white, yellow, and orange in our top three. We've got, you could call mill purple, I think would be the best. It's the most, the color that shows up the most in it. Ivory is, of course, yellow. Kevin and Big Cheese are the unknowns, and Ara is pink. So we might not have any blue in top 8 unless Kevin is, of course, playing Bluna.
Unless someone's playing Luna, yeah. If someone is playing Luna, then we've got the whole rainbow.
Yeah, yeah.
And for once, white isn't just showing up like as just Mistmain in someone's deck. Actually, white decks.
Yeah, and this tends to happen every once in a while. White decks just show up and go, "Hey, we're a color, and we're actually here's all the cards we got that are pretty good."
Often it is Bugle doing this. It seems to me.
Yeah, a couple years back though, it was the Octavia attempts at White Burst, um, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think that's probably the number one thing that I hope to get in this new set. And granted, I said this last set too, um, to have white have a proper presence again.
I mean, it's definitely an adventure after this because just because Bugle's deck was designed to be anti mill, its aggro nature speaks for itself with being that's as strong as it is. It's just a very different style of how to go about the aggro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Yona Sandbar is a pretty great main. Um, Probably prize concert will still be in new core and everything. So, yeah, probably worth looking at in new core.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Speaking of which, how much of this is? A lot of this is actually adventure.
Oh,
Mo-
Bugle's deck he's running.
yeah, most of the because you've got Daisy, Lily, and Roseluck, which is an adventure card. That's the one cost 4 power if there's no opposing characters. Sweetie Belle just a snag is adventure. Princess Cadence Spa Day will be is adventure. Opalescence Royal Edict is adventure.
Okay, so no go on that one.
But the thing is if you look at our resources, like our events and the actual resources, most of those are not adventure. Most of those are in core and will be a new core. So with just a little bit of aggro package in the main cards, this actually could be something that could be attempted uh, in new core and maybe even core right now.
Yeah, yeah. White does have. I mean, between the changelings, honestly, work pretty well together for white aggro, and that gives you the benefits of the princess mask you're going to be running anyway. Um, that might be worth looking at.
Yeah, there definitely could be something there. And Matilda will be a new core too. So she's already one part of the aggro of this deck. A 2 cost 4 power for confront, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
With the rudest keyword of all time stapled onto it, of course.
Right. It's 10 years on, and people still have the opportunity to forget inspired.
What a glorious time we live in. When are we getting reformatted in Inspire where it's actually at the start of the turn so you can do troublemaker stuff with it? But And Stellar Flare exists in the new one, and Stellar Flare is an incredibly powerful uh, low entry card. So
Right, that the unicorn token one. Yeah.
yeah, the token generator. And Stellar Flare was initially built as a way to get Selly some capability. Ocellus. But she's just straight up good.
Hmm.
And then there's Aizodal, um, who is I don't know. I never know what I think of this card because it is so good to get down like turn 1 when it costs literally 0. And then it's just going to build as the game goes on, almost um, a lesser version of Bubbly Mare or Party Mare. Party Mare going to all the problems
Right. Yeah.
with a very good text on it for chaos. So, but it's just unplayable late game.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, let me think about this for a second. So that is true if people are scoring points because it scales on points, right?
It scales on your points,
Your
not your
points.
opponent.
Yeah. So like if you play it early in like a control matchup where you're not scoring many points and that's what the opponent's doing, then it really is. Just, I mean, granted, you didn't pay any AT for it, but still isn't really helping you much.
Yeah, and it's not valuable until you get to those later stages. But it's still, I mean, if it's 3 turns down or you're at 4 points, it becomes a zero cost. It was a zero cost card that now has 3 power that you can move up to a problem. So maybe it's not that terrible, especially as you get to 6 points, in which it's 4 power, 8 points, it's 5 power. Now we're talking a single move, 2 AT move, and confront a problem, possibly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Usually, yeah, when things get into that 4 or 5 range, they become kind of crazy on their own. So,
Yeah. And it only gets even greater as you go on to what? Theoretically, at 14 points, it's an 8 power card. So that costs 0 initially.
mhm. So like yeah, in aggro versus aggro and aggro versus mid range, it seems pretty clearly incredible. Yeah.
But the problem is it's as a late draw, it's just a dead card
Hmm.
because you're not really wanting to go. I spend 3 AT for a 4 power friend. That's just not that great. And the later you draw it, the more it costs for a just big beater.
Yeah. Let's have the interesting advantage that it is always you'll never pay a chrysalis tax on it for what that's worth.
Oh, right, because it's an additional cost. It's not you double the initial cost. Well, I don't know. Is that true? Is that how that works?
I mean, yeah, because costs are never modified. They're just well, I mean, yeah, costs are costs. Nothing ever increases or decreases the cost, just increases or decreases what you pay. And so all modifiers and abilities that look at costs look at the number on the card. At least that's the way that I understand it.
I think that's right. Because it is an additional cost. So you pay the 0 cost twice, and then you pay the additional cost for every 2 points you have rounded down.
Yeah.
And maybe if our tournament ends up with Fizzban versus Bugle at the final matchup again, maybe we'll see that actually come into play.
We might actually see that come into play, yeah.
Actually, that's man, Aoizodel's so good against her because you just let Aoizodel be canceled, right? Well, that actually brings in some when do you have to pay costs and when are modifiers affecting. Do you have to pay the one for every 2 points beyond before you pay the extra 0 for
Ooh,
Alizodal?
that's actually a really cool question. Let me get the comp rules here.
That is a very, very insane question.
So wait, okay, so part of it I think is just exactly what Chrysalis says. So Chrysalis is as an opponent plays their first non-12 maker card each turn. So I think okay, yeah. So that's that. Look at the comp rules now. My guess is that if we've reached the stage where you are playing, like paying costs happens before you play it. I think. But let me look.
That seems to make the most reasonable sense, but I could see some other weirdness in it.
I guess that's in the cost section. There's a section of the rules where they talk about process of playing a card.
I know there's a section about paying costs, but it's been a long time since I've looked at the comprehensive.
Alright, costs.
Because both are as. Arizona says as an additional cost, and Queen Crystal it says as it enters play. No, as an opponent plays.
Yeah, as an opponent plays, pay X or X is that card's cost. So that like and an instruction to pay is always a cost. A cost is anything a player must pay to take an action or to process an effect or modifier. It's always a cost.
Have we found a broken part of the game?
I think it's I think it's probably just something that um, is specified somewhere in the rules, and I'm just not able to find it, or otherwise may need to be just more closely specified of like what exactly are the sequence of steps that you go through when you pay costs and play cards.
Yeah, because like this is an actual thing that may show up in this uh, in today's tournament, in theory.
We've been asked if there's any preferences on which game we see on stream. I think I want to watch Fizban versus Kevin to see the changelings and to find out what Kevin's deck is.
I'm in agreement. I just worry that that's a lot of changelings we've seen, but like we've seen pretty much everything else too. So I'm down with this man versus Kevin.
Okay. We know Hithrock's on the floor. Do you want to like maybe let him know our rules question?
Uh, sure.
While the just to update the stream, the con floor stream was shut down, so I'm just trying to bring it back up for us. I believe they were nearly done with their deck check, so we should be getting started with actual games here soon.
I see the stream, but then it looks like it froze.
Yeah, there's some lag.
And once we get through these technical problems, all right.
Yeah, I believe we
Looks like,
stabilized now.
yeah, we're back on. No more issues. With Fizzban once again. With a deck we certainly have not seen, and that has before this, which is why we're so interested, and with play lines that are very different than a lot of stuff that we've expected before. So,
Looking at, we've just been given Kevin's deck list. It appears it's just Thorax.
so there's no Bluna.
Unless Cheese is playing Bluna somehow, then yeah, there's no Bluna.
I want to take a look at Fizzban's deck too. We have that available. As to our question, Hithrock has gone into. Let me take a look at that.
Okay. Just
So, just a cozy glow for Troublemaker. Two staffs. We haven't seen those come out yet. We've seen the Herd of Adoring Fans. Turning Point. That's a card we haven't seen, but that's very much a hey, let me steal your Grogar. There's a stolen talent, the Queen Chrysalis, that banishes a friend from a discard pile and then gains that friend's printed abilities.
interesting.
It's gonna work. And friends are always there. I don't think we saw that yesterday, but maybe we did. Hithrox says that you would need to only pay 0 extra.
Was that the question? I don't remember. I don't think that was what we were asking.
That wasn't the full thing, but he's continuing.
Okay. Sorry about that. I think
All right. Are we having stream issues again?
a little bit. Seems mostly stable.
It froze on my end, so I'm gonna reset and hopefully we'll get there. Uh, Otherwise, we do have a frozen stream at the moment, it looks like.
Yep. Apologies for this, everyone.
Right as the action gets started, we get black screened. They really know how to tease us. Hithrock finally now understands what I mean.
If we have just ignited another long rules debate, then I'm going to apologize in advance.
I'm not. I definitely was the one to ask it.
I believe it was your fault, yes.
I will take credit. Hithrock says that if we had a Aoi Zodal at 6 points, so we needed to pay the 3 additional points, that we would pay 3 for Aoi Zodal, and then the cost that would be doubled would be the 0. So you would pay the 0 as an additional cost to
Okay.
to not have it canceled.
But if you wanted to let the card be canceled, you would have to pay the 3.
Yes, you always have to pay the 3.
Okay. Well, that's slightly disappointing.
It is a very interesting way of going about it, but like it makes a moderate amount of sense. All costs are paid initially, and then we look to pay the additional cost of 0. And because it's just an additional cost, you're just looking at another line of text, which loops back to the cost of the card.
Mhm.
Still no stream.
Yeah, I think there may have been. I know I heard one of the last one of the last things I heard from the con floor was Ara saying, "Oh, well, there goes the stream." Um, so they may be having some foreseeable technical difficulties.
As we snap back to reality, we get no pony cards. There is only soft misery for all of us until the pony's joyful happiness brings us back. Being not in the doomer state, how are you?
I was about to say you've been pretty dark on our commentary these past couple days.
I have a massive burn on my leg, so maybe I'm just a little bit of uh, dissatisfied with life at the moment.
Sure. Was that like? I know you've been doing some DIY stuff around your house. Was that that?
No, it was work related. I was working on a gauge, and the valve was shut off to where the little gauge was, and as I was tightening it up, the whole stem the gauge was connected to burst open, and I got hit by 180-degree water,
Ouch.
which is what, about 80 degrees Celsius, 85 degrees Celsius. So
And yeah, that's not going to be fun. No matter what.
yeah, are we back in? I'm getting a slow, choppy stream.
I've not seen anything yet.
Yeah, I'm getting slow, choppy, but they're goofing around. It can be heard. And there's certainly glare issues too as well, but that's okay. And it does look like Kevin is confirming how Chrysalis works. So we'll see how that plays out here. And stream was lost.
Okay. I guess to continue, I get things for me have been better than that, lately. Uh, a at work there's a fellow there that I'm relatively close with who's one of the sort of call him kind of the coffee evangelizer of the office.
Okay.
He's a fan of the sort of fancy pour over stuff. He's been trying to get me into better coffee lately. And so this week I actually bought a coffee grinder and a French press and everything.
Aw, we're gonna have a coffee snob.
Um, Perhaps, yeah. It
How, since I've never done anything like that, how much does that kind of stuff really improve flavor?
I think it's so yeah. I think drinking that this week was both the best and worst event of my year. Because it is I found it to be really really good, much better. And now the regular coffee they have at work is just terrible by comparison, and I can't enjoy it anymore.
So does it just have like a lot more flavor to it? It doesn't have quite such a.
It's mostly that all the bitterness is gone.
Oh,
Like yeah, when I drink the regular coffee at work, it just tastes so bitter now. Um, that like yeah, that's the only thing that I taste. Whereas at home, it's just smooth flavor.
oh no! You're gonna have to start bringing your coffee to work. Get up early enough to make it.
I guess yeah. I'm not looking forward to that.
But at least you'll have good coffee to stay awake to.
There is that at least. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's been doing a lot of cooking on that kind of thing and trying out new techniques and everything. And it's like, yeah, these are really good burgers now that you make. I mean, I'm perfectly satisfied with my quarter-pound pre-cut burgers from Costco that I quickly cook up and throw on slices of bread. But these are really good burgers you make.
Yeah, there can be a lot in that world. I'm actually trying to start making some bread as well. Got some loaf pans and a kitchen scale to work with. I think that's what I'll do after the stream's done. Is try make a first loaf of bread.
Oh, nice. Do you've got a bread maker that you're gonna finish it off in, or it's just all make your own dough, let it rise, and then prove it and bake it?
Yeah, I think it's all. I don't have any of the fancy equipment. Just a bowl and an oven and some yeast and the other ingredients.
Right, right, right. Huh. That'll be. I demand to hear how the bread goes, and whether or not it's actually cheaper considering the prices of bread spiking.
Yeah, probably won't be cheaper this first time around because I had to buy the yeast and the scale and all that. We'll see if those costs kind of amortize out in the long run.
Right, right. And heck, man, my mom used to make fresh break bread, and there's nothing so good as that. They're just
That smell, yeah.
the smell. You like put some butter over the crust, get those first slices, eat it, and then you make French toast with that bread. Oh,
Yep, it's a whole new world out there. Well, an old one.
still no stream. At this rate, they'll have to. The whole thing gets delayed, or they'll just start playing without us at some point.
We'll see. I mean, the other tables may have started, probably have started by now. We'll have to see.
And we might have chosen one of the longest matchups to watch, too.
Really, Changelings versus Thorax? You think that's going to be the long one?
It was yesterday. It went to soft time.
I guess so. Yeah, actually, now that you mention it.
And so did Changelings versus Mono White Aggro went to soft time as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
I forget the. I've already forgotten the influence that early Chrysalis Flip had on that game.
yeah. Like it slows things down enough that it gives the Changeling time to set up to get their Changelings out and then to begin the forward momentum. Because I think those were the only two games that went to time.
I'm not sure.
I see cards being played. I see a mat. I got some kind of stream. It looks like they have started playing. We do have Cozy Glow out, the problem, as well as uh, the yellow song has been played.
Okay. I have not seen anything yet. I will let the streamer have that as soon as I have video.
Uh, it is also running at 4 frames a second. If but it does look like there's a thorax flip and 1, 2, 3 cards being played, so Kevin is accelerated out pretty fast here.
Okay. You'll have to give us the radio play for now.
Yeah. And I think it's just color establishment at the moment. There was a bounce played off of Kevin, so and it's lost. It looked like the initial push to stall the game out wasn't nearly as effective as one might have hoped. But radio signal has been lost.
Okay. Hey, I have some choppy video now. At least folks can see that. Similar to as you had said, yeah, we're running a very low frame rate here, and no audio, I don't think. This list is flipped over, though.
Yeah, flipped and up, but that just happened in the last turn cycle.
Okay.
So I am seeing it on your side. And I know there's a staff in there, so that might be able to help slow things down a bit, but I don't know what Kevin's board state looks like due to the glare.
With the tax, does this cost 2 or does it cost from what? With Antoine discounting it. Huh? With Antoine discounting it.
But I think this is the situation in which Kevin just kind of sits, scores some points, banks AT, and lost.
Yes. It kind of looked like that way to me. Kevin seemed to be in a fairly secure position.
Yeah. And the thing is for as much as that kind of position we talk is typically very good, we have both seen how quick the Timble deck goes from, oh, yeah, we'll just sit here gathering our points at each side, and I'm now gathering 3 points a turn. And because I start, I'm now on the up ahead, and now you have to respond to me. Especially with a troublemaker in front, that is going to be a very strong stall out.
I guess we have Kevin's list. Quickly check for Thorax usually doesn't run dilemmas, and I don't believe there are any in here.
No, I'm not seeing any. There's Defend the Hive, which can break through. He's got focused attention though.
Right? Ah, okay. That would do it as well, yeah.
And Seeds of Doubt says when an opponent challenges this card, that player retires a friend involved in the face-off. So against Thorax, Cozy Glow Seeds of Doubt is good, but not exactly phenomenal. I almost wonder if the correct thing to do is to have maybe 1 Seeds of Doubt and some more anti-main, just because of Thorax.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some kind of visual back. Looks like there's a Yona down. And a Yona has been stolen. Oh, that's going to be a very efficient play. I think Yona was used to bounce the yellow entry.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in Kevin's hand, thinking that'd be fairly correct.
Yeah, against the Frenchry Chrysalis or Changeling. And Kevin's picking up picking up everyone's favorite card to go, wait, this does that? You get 3 power and to steal a friend? What is this nonsense? Uh, I almost say he pushes Yona to the other side. Well, I don't know if there's any 3 power friends on Kevin's side. So that could be a little bit more problematic. I do see a Kind Pony, I do see a Lat Gummy, and Kind Pony's coming down to push Yona back into Kevin's hand. And I lost it, but that was a fast exchange of Yona between players. But the only target for Yona now, though, was a Pharynx Hive Patrol. It's not the kind of card you want to bounce back to the hand,
Right.
typically. And Christy was still not flipped, so that Kind Pony should have cost 4. Unless he threw away a card.
Okay, I did find the. I knew the rules were in there somewhere. Yeah, it is. After this is about the Chrysalis thing. After declaring the action you're taking, you pay the costs, and then effects which happen as a player plays a card are down later than that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And because it is as an additional cost, you pay it then. Without Izodal there, that is.
Yep.
I'm gonna be really annoyed if us rooting for Fizzban this entire time and then we don't even get to see his match. It's been just such a fun deck to see play. Just go all over the place. And oh, I didn't realize how good Arista Arts and Crafts actually was as a potential card. When this card is played, you may pay 1 less for your next resource this turn. That gets you Pirate Ship down.
Yep.
It gets you Speech down. It gets you Princess Mask down. It makes Staff only 1 cost. Spooky Runes only 1 cost.
Fair point to be made. Yeah, I think most people like. I usually tend to approach yellow decks as not having that many resources in them, broadly speaking. I mean, you think about Spooky Ruins and Staff, and that's about it. But yeah, in the yellow white context, there's suddenly all kinds of things you'd want to play. That's fair.
Yeah. Especially with Heart of Adoring Fans. Which very clearly cannot copy Pharynx Hive Patrol with much sadness. And Pharynx says when you play this card anyways, not you can't copy it, so it's not like that would have actually mattered.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to hopefully see that deck do well. Especially after yesterday's prospecting interruption being the surviving piece.
Yep. Yeah, that was a game that just kind of, well, yeah, turned on a bunch of little things as we got close to the end there.
Yeah, it was a very close game.
I think we both went through periods of thinking, oh, Fizzman's got it. Oh, Bitewave's got it. Oh, no, Fizzman's got it.
It's a sinusoidal bite wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely one that. But the thing is, that happened with Bugle against this deck too.
That's right. Yes.
I don't know. I think the reason is this deck doesn't have that many like super powerful cards, but the cards it does blow things out of the water. Timble is such a force, and he's crafted the deck to really be able to make use of Timble in that way. And being Pharynx is always a heavy threat. With Thorax being able to just have that little bit of card draw and flipping the changelings. It's a deck that you look at it and go, oh, I mean, look at all these 2 power, 2 friends with not much more text on them. But between Pharynx and Timble and Herd of Adoring Fans, it really just can get out of control.
Yeah. Are you seeing footage, by the way?
I am not at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay. But yeah, this would be a wonderful experience for him, uh, especially if he manages to get through in the top 4 or whatever. As we saw, yeah, those deck certainly has the capacity to surprise other folks. But if you are in the audience, I am. Yeah, we are still trying to work on getting you footage here. I can only imagine that there is someone working feverishly on it on the other side, on the con floor as well.
Yeah. And we'll get what information we can. We do have a note that Fizz isn't getting any of his Timbles to really make the plays he needs to be. And I'm wondering if what I was just talking about, how there's just some cards that blow this deck out of the water, is kind of its almost weak point. Because it's a just fine deck, and then to have its power, right, it needs those power cards.
Right. Yeah, that is a fair point, I guess. Usually, when you have a deck that kind of revolves around particular cards, well, you hopefully have just putting 3 of them in there. Hopefully means you're guaranteed to draw at least one over the course of your game. Bad luck happens sometimes, but also, yeah, you put in some kind of search or some kind of method to make sure you get them properly. And part of that is, I think, like, Timble is a card that is great with 1, but it's amazing with 2. It's incredible with 3, right? It's not just guaranteeing that you draw 1. It's hopefully getting all of them.
Yeah, this symbol accelerates a game. Means every one of them is an even more increased capability. So, I mean, this deck theoretically has 6 Timbles, between 3 Timbles and 3 Hordes of Adoring Fans. I have a flash of screen here. Looks like we've got a staff out. Chrysalis still isn't flipped. We have Pharynx down. And Yona is once again uh, in the hands. And it sounds like there's some uh, troublemaker rules too. Just verifying that troublemakers flip up.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we were still in this stalemate. Um, Kevin had saved up 10 AT though, so I'm thinking Kevin might be just trying to sit it out and then wait for a burst turn to go. And I'm now at 7 points. Now let me push up to 11, 12, and win on
Yeah.
the next turn.
Yeah. If Fizz hasn't been drawing his Timbles, then Kevin has the luxury of being able to do that, right? Usually,
Right.
as we saw, yeah, that's the paradox of the deck. Is you think, oh, okay, well, I'll just sit back and get some Chrysalises. Oh, you're scoring 4 points a turn now. Oh,
Right. Oh, I was ahead by like 2 points, and now you're ahead by 2 points.
Play Yona.
And there's 3 calming, not that problem.
I will attempt. How much do you have?
And like, I guess there's also a defend the hive with staff with a flip chrysalis. And the thing is, chrysalis on defense is actually pretty strong, forcing your opponent to pay twice the AT for stuff.
yep.
Go ahead.
So I do have some frames again.
Yep. Seeing that. It looks like our AT amounts are very high, and that
I put this in his book.
Pharynx is once again stealing Aona. Looks like there was a staff frighten, and Brian coming into play, probably will dismiss the staff uh, on the next turn. That's painful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thorax might actually be this deck's worst game match, just because the the clear in the deck is 3 power or greater, and Thorax power all relies on himself.
Right. Yeah, you'd have to do again tricks like we saw yesterday to get day shift up above the uh, threshold.
Which was a hell of a trick, and I think ended up being the right choice because of the calming on the Timbles.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. It seemed like kind of questionable at the time, but well, I don't know, what questionable per se, but like I think at the time it happened, you could have made a reasonable argument that getting rid of Fluttershy was more important. Um, but yeah, the calming ended up being the bigger deal.
Yeah. Uh, it appears we do have an update. Fizz did, in fact, lose that game.
And Bugle,
Bugle lost to Aria. I told you it could happen. 15-14.
wow, wow, okay.
I called it. I said the deck is just slightly bigger.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll pretend these are critters. 2, 3,
So wait, if this is lost, that means I think I'm getting very old footage here.
Yeah, we are getting very old footage because the relay server just got started up again, and we are now way back with unicorns being indicated for critters.
Okay, so if there's a restart happening, we'll hopefully get you something better here very soon.
All right, folks, getting back things reset. And hopefully we'll have everything prepped for the next round.
Yeah, or maybe they'll be able to. Maybe they'll be able to move a game onto the stream table.
And we're being told that the Ivory versus GP looks likely to go to Ivory.
That would be something. That would mean it would be Aura versus Ivory in the round of 4 match on that side of the bracket. Cadence versus Thorax.
I don't know who takes that. I think that has the most potential for a Cadence, but I couldn't say for sure.
It's 2 highly optimized aggro decks. Always comes down to some luck in there.
And so that would leave us with Big Cheese and Instagram as our final unknown pairing. Of course, Ivory and GP is not solved yet. All right.
You have something?
I have Stream, and they're saying that they're going to have to go and replay everything because Stream missed everything. All right, yep, guys, shuffle up your decks again and play it out. Show us all your moves.
I mean, we're not in a hurry anymore.
We need to let Mayu into the room.
Okay, Ivory did win his round.
In the room. I thought he was in the room.
No, we just think Mayu left the room.
Yeah. Does he not have a key card?
I don't know where it is. I think they might have in the room.
Okay. Let's go fix it.
So yeah, that does mean it'll be Aura versus Ivory top of the bracket. Kevin versus the winner of Cheese versus Instagram in the bottom half of the bracket.
That is fascinating. Not at all how I was expecting things to go.
Yeah, this has been a weird tournament, all things considered. I mean, no Bluna in the top 8. Our 1 mil player is out now. Our top seed is also down.
The one that we were rooting for is gone. That leaves us with 2 Thorax decks, whatever Cadence, and either Farm or whatever Big Cheese is running.
Yeah. Everyone comes into this event scared of Mill, and it might just be Thorax in the farm.
Which would be a very anticlimactic, as everyone takes day shift and throws her back into the fire.
Throws her back in the fire, yeah. Could very well be.
What have we done? We have unleashed yellow again. The wild animal that is yellow is running about amok.
Yeah, very sorry to the folks on stream that we weren't able to bring you that opening match, except for little snippets and flashes of it here and there. Things do appear to be. I'm holding my floors and, or sorry, crossing my fingers and knocking on some wood, but things do appear to be stable now. So we should be good for the future rounds once those get started.
Which should be a lovely story because Will's tournament is already ending up in a strange position. Either that or it's just in the most likely position when we all had hopes for something different.
It's not where I thought it was going to be, that's for sure. Like, I think, and I mean, Tim can talk about this in their recap stream, but we were talking yesterday about potential ban actions for the mill deck. Maybe we're in a world where we don't even have to worry about that anymore. Possibly.
Oh. Also, what was it you were saying about Big Cheese earlier?
Oh, I see.
At the beginning of the stream about him trying to run the strongest deck? We have been informed that he is running mill.
Okay. Well, in some sense, as you said, that's maybe not particularly surprising then.
Yeah, but is the orange farm big enough to go up against mill?
That's interesting. So we know, like, Orange Farm doesn't it doesn't need like any time to set up. It goes right away, as we saw from Instagram.
Right. It turn one, you're there. You're flipping into a troublemaker. If you're flipping into you're hoping to flip into just a point one, and then the next turn go shadows something else.
Yeah. And so, like, with the right draw and with like a good hit from Pony of Shadows, which admittedly is not a guarantee. That deck has a number of friends in it that some of them wouldn't be amazing hits off of Pony of Shadows, but still, with some good luck there, it could conceivably establish an early lead. I mean, I guess the game's not over yet. We haven't heard the updates from it.
Which means it hasn't, like, it's stalled out in some fashion. It also means of interest, you just sideboard out old AJ. Because every other card, Grogar, or not Grogar, Grumble, he hits the field. He's a 6 power front. That alone threatens, right? That alone is getting you points, even if he's not discarding much from his opponent's hand.
Yep.
The other half of that is Catjack comes and wipes an early field and is a 5 power friend to help score points. And as well as the fact that even if it's just Big Mac, you're still hitting. Your opponent has to deal with Big Mac before they can put any resources down, which means no rock turret, no any hit off of Pony of Shadows is actually a good hit if you sideboard right.
Yeah, that's all very true. Like, actually, so given that we know the rest of the field, Kevin, Ivory, Ara at this point, is all playing aggro decks. It seems like, Instagram is deep in his game, but if he's able to win over this mill, he might have a pretty good shot at things, actually.
Yeah, especially with the orange mill. Like, there's a couple of the other variants that might have more trouble, but Instagram might be on his second run to the top.
First one being Continentals 2 years ago, right?
Yes, when I had it, start my turn, I win the game, and he goes, "Here's 11 points."
Be thorax in the final.
What?
I would laugh.
We didn't even
Yep.
into our decks.
I knew you wouldn't forget that.
No, we have slightly different lists.
No, I mean like we didn't switch it from like last year.
It's Ivory and Kevin there talking
Yeah.
about their own lists.
About our thorax fun that may be coming up to us.
As we see the cards of relevance right now. These are the big hitters of the tournament, it appears.
I haven't seen much. He's putting the Antoines down. I haven't seen much really cool Antoine plays yet.
Yeah, the one that had the possibility was, I remember there was some Antoine plays about stopping a face-off, but that wasn't even super potential interesting.
Right. That
Just
was
say-
that was Max in the Swiss round, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. But looking at, so Bugle went 5-0, Instagram went 4-1, Fizzban went 4-1. We know that Fizzban's loss was to Bugle. So did Fizzban take down a mill deck with both Ivory and GP being 4 and 5? I would have thought that he actually did. Because both GP and Ivory lost twice. So that means, I think Bugle clearly beat one, if not both of them. I think Instagram might have beaten one, if not both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or, excuse me, GP is at 4, Big Cheese is at 7. But they're still both 3 and 2. With our yellows at pretty much close to opposite ends. Still, it's a. I'll be curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah. I'll be very eager to see the round by round results for this event. Because yeah, there's a lot of, well, as you say, insight to be gained on who exactly managed to beat the mill deck.
You want the? Sorry.
The ring of doom of yellow atrocities that have inflicted themselves upon our meta.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, all of them are pretty cool.
Hey, they're all great cards. I especially love, like, Antoine is just not point acceleration, but AT acceleration and such. But you can do really cool things given that it's an immediate activated.
Yeah, I think that a simple way to have prevented this deck from being so overwhelming would have been just make Antoine main phase. But that'll happen.
Ivory looks like he's getting prepped. At least getting prepped for being prepped.
Yeah. Yeah, they might be starting his match with Ara, did we say?
Yes, his match will be against Ara. It is fair to say the tournament is a bit behind in terms of schedules. So yeah.
Yeah. GP said it looked close with Instagram versus Cheese, so we'll see how that ends up. Yes, I see Ara has best pony just right in front of the box. He must be praised.
So yeah, if these two are going to get started, then we'll be happy to bring you some real action, and not just us chatting about anything that catches our fancy.
The theoreticals of the tournament and what the potentials are.
And work and coffee and things like that.
One of the interesting things that we did get here is these evidently direct to Asian markets.
Those are cool. I wonder where they're from.
They were saying yesterday, they're like, these are actually really nice.
Like, I don't know if you can see the foil. No, probably
The foil is really high quality.
yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
Are those like
Does it annoy you?
TCG cards or?
I think they're trading cards of some sort.
Turn the corner, that's unimportant. You know what?
Like normal trading cards, not.
Cute pony. Look at the cute pony. Look at this cute pony. Look at that cute pony.
So when are we making the trip out to mainland to
Never.
actually go to one of these fan expos?
But yeah, those are really high quality
Never.
pieces of art.
Yeah, no, I would. I will have to question Ara, interrogate him about where he got those from.
Hey, GP. They were inquiring. I told them 2 p.m.
But so, what are going to be the key cards in each of this matchup?
Yeah, so it's Kevin versus.
Clearly, everything Ivory laid out. Those are his key cards. He just wants to hit the field running and continue hitting hard with Thorax.
Yeah. In the case of Aura, I think it's all of his disruption. Like as mentioned, Fluttershy is a must answer. Antoine's a must answer. Point acceleration maybe a bit less so.
Needs to get cadence flipped. So a starting hand of 3 bubbly mares
Told Keyframe I didn't.
or 3 party mares, and just go. All right, turn 1. Go second. I play 3 party mares. I return none of them to my hand, and I flip cadence.
That would be an opener. Yeah.
Load your deck, but I don't actually remember everything.
And so in Christmas Land, I think that's what Ara wants, or anything of a similar nature. Because that's just so much power being pushed everywhere, and Cadence is now set up for draw and +1 counters.
Yeah. And Ivory, like, he has ways to deal with. I don't know if he would necessarily be able to deal with all of them if they all came into play. He's got the unsats and,
Check the picture
you know,
on the floor.
what else?
The ones that set power to 0, but like
Right.
I guess Yona comes into play at a certain point.
Yeah, Yona once they get above 3 power, I guess. Or 2 power.
Yeah. It looked like. I wonder if Ivory did not know what the card was that Ara showed him and was asking, hey, what the heck is this? What is this draft chaff that you've brought into this?
Yeah, but we would expect these two to be broadly familiar with each other's checklists.
Yeah, it's just the oddities of, hey, what did you bring as a mill counter?
Oh, yeah, actually, Day Shift has the potential to probably be enormous in this game. Because we saw on stream yesterday Ara's fondness for replacing problems. So
Day shift is just. Oh man, I didn't even think about day shift. Day shift is probably like the counter to Ara for this. Because it means Ara can't just go, hey, I'm blowing up this problem.
mhm.
There's no way. I fully expect. I expect to die here.
I don't actually think that's entirely true. I mean,
Yeah, Ara is saying that he's on the lower end of odds.
with an unboosted main.
Well, yes, this is going to depend very heavily on me getting a very good startup and you not getting any.
So in Christmas Land, we want three
So true. I do have interaction.
You better have unsats in there.
Unsats
three party mares and a box to put on Thorax.
as
Yep,
even when we were playtesting,
that would be best case scenario, I think.
auto include in every yellow deck, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't have a Pegasus, yes. Like, you're going to need to save those to deal with the Muffin Mares.
Well, Muffin Mare gets too big, I can just bounce him with Yona.
Yeah, that's true.
As they are talking about the exact same things we would.
She does.
Yes, here we go.
Muffin Mare Burst.
She isn't really an aggro main.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see who's gonna go first here. I'm pretty sure.
Use that rainbow Chrissy art
No,
as the,
absolutely
and
not.
we'll make an aggro
No.
main with it.
No.
If I ask them right now, I bet I could get everyone in chat to agree with me.
I am quite sure, Ivory, that everyone would love a Rainbow Chrissy aggro main. One that's so good and in Ara's wheelhouse that he would have to play it.
Decide who goes first.
He wouldn't.
Even or odd?
Purely on principle, despite it being like exactly the kind of card he wants to play.
I'm pretty sure.
I will choose to go first.
Either that or else he would not play it for a little while. And then for the first time, there would be a Continental promo that was a main that was that with Evil Chrissy art. And then he would take it.
Returns it to normal Chrissy. Or the other way is just make it the Chrysalis in her stoned version, where she's just a statue.
Yep.
The official Arakat Re coming in.
Okay, I said my piece. I guess we need
What do you say there?
He said that I have said my piece. Which is very true.
Keeping my hand.
Yep. And Prism with Thorax might rule court and adventure soon. There's a thought for that.
I'm not going to do it.
I mean, there was thinking about action against Thorax not too long ago. You know, adoption options mostly, I think, being the card on the watch list. I don't know if it's been crazy in this tournament so far or not.
I figured.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Funny though.
Oh man, if Thorax takes Harmony too. I mean, Thorax is just old mod, but better. Especially with the insane, crazy numbers he can get up to with Cranko Shy.
I'm going to get Tia.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone put it quite that way before, but that's broadly correct, isn't it?
Yeah, and he doesn't, but he just doesn't farm, right? And so it's not like you're looking at old mod. He just goes, oh, I can just double confront rather than waste cards on my point acceleration. My problems are my point acceleration.
Yeah, and people did used to play mod like that on occasion. Like it was mostly a farm deck, but I definitely know people used to play mod as just confront problems all herself kind of situation.
Right, because 7 is pretty hefty.
Alright, you can press the button whenever you're ready. Well, draw your hand first. I don't want you to...
But we'll see how. I'm for Cadence just to root for Cadence and not root for Thorax.
Sure. Yeah, Cadence is my deck too. I am 100% with it as well.
I am becoming Aura. I am hissing at the Thorax.
Double mistake by doing that mulligan. Okay. Cool.
This shall be known as the BABSCon of.
Well, that does not look like a hand with 3 party mirrors in it, I'm afraid.
Got it.
I mean, it's not a terrible start.
It's gonna be a thing. Am I good to go?
Yes.
Alright, game 2 and draw.
Just trying to shove Thorax off from any early if he needs, or just getting friends down probably.
And now you have 0 AT.
Mm-hmm.
2 to move.
Yeah, Prism. Cherry is going to be a required card for Aura, I think, to be able to keep up with Thorax here.
I don't think I see any point acceleration in Ivory's hand yet.
I have not seen Ivory's hand in good detail.
I don't see any cards that automatically look like a Bunyip, or a Fluttershy for that matter.
Yeah, it might be low-level critters all right now. There definitely look like a couple events. There's a day shift there too.
Moving. Day shift, score phase.
Yep, and there's the shift.
Go ahead.
As we move to 1-1, 1-0.
Wait,
What is
did Aura take 3 AT?
the first turn? Yeah, he did.
But did he take it this turn? He used it all last turn.
That looks to be
Go fast.
true.
1 AT left.
I think we should check that.
Yeah,
I guess GP is the guy to ping now.
yeah, that would make sense.
+3, okay.
Unless, is there a discount somewhere that we're missing?
I'm playing it, I just don't know which problem. We can play it over here, it's fine.
Oh, double day shift. That's just. Yeah, Prism Light. The thing is we think we see 5 AT spent on the field.
One more than you should have.
Oh, they may have corrected that.
Okay. Right, this turn in which he only gains 2 AT.
Eagle did a
Okay.
Yep, it's all good now.
second. Okay, I get 3 on my second turn.
That happened.
That's not quite how it works.
Well, no, that's not true. That happened.
Of course, I'm going up against a Thorax deck. I should have 3 on my second turn, right?
That would be really useful right now, actually.
But we are 2-1 at the moment. And we have the refill Gabby, so Cadence can dump cards.
Mm-hmm.
Unknown.
Especially if trying to look for ways to deal with these day shifts.
Yeah. I mean, now actually would be, well, it would be a reasonable time for it. What Aura wants more than anything, oh, gee. I was gonna say, what Aura wants more than anything is to start a face-off so he can flip his main over. But there are 2 day shifts in the field.
Yeah.
Stop.
And that with 2 day shifts, all 4 cards of Ivory's just go straight back up. So, like, I think Ivory wants the double here for sure.
Well,
But
he he either wants to double or to put a bunch of bunnies into play if he's got him. He's happy for us to just sit here and let Ara do the face off. But if he does,
that's
if
true.
he has no point acceleration, then yeah, do the double yourself. Got the day ships.
Just to get off the 0 point problems and start getting into the hey, let me get some heavy scoring options around. And the pink problems are honestly some of the least impactful. They're definitely not white. They're not some of the craziness that purple has, and yellow's high bonus points. Ivory wants for sure.
Defend the hive. Okay, yep, that does it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It is an early expenditure of defend the hive, though.
Okay.
Distracted is nasty.
And that is tough call. Yeah.
Yeah, the confront draw a card, but the biggest thing about that is that's 2 bonus points.
Those can go over there.
Yeah, and Ivory already has 8 power at it, so
Does open the possibility for Aura to do a single confront, but doing a single face off. I mean, but
and then Ivory just moves back up to it and double confronts because he's got day shifts.
yeah. Oh boy.
We aren't watching a match. We're watching a potential slaughter here. Because day shift just provide one more massive outlet for Thorax just to push again and again and again.
Yeah. I mean, so like,
Oh, there's keyframe.
think about it. Ivory he's saved 8 AT already with his day shifts.
Yeah. And granted, like 2 of that AT would have never spent, but now he's got 1 power up there that he definitely wouldn't have had, and both day shifts are up there. So it's 4 power at another problem. And the fact that he gets to double confront and then be on the offensive to win the face off on the next turn too is just nasty.
But yeah, Aura needs something to be able to deal with those day shifts. What do I see in his hand? I see a cherry berry. I see a blindfold, I think. Is not very good at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's just.
Ooh, is that?
Oh, Jesus shoes. Those are the +2 power, +2 eccentric.
I think it's actually +3 eccentric.
+2 power.
Which,
Okay.
Draw 1 card.
hey, it's Yak. Which only draws a single card right now, but. Ooh, is that?
No, it's 2 eccentric.
Oh.
Okay.
This is gonna cause
If there was only 1 day shift, it might be worth setting her at the other problem and stealing a day shift after the face off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with Sonata, you mean?
Yeah, with Sonata.
Actually,
But
I only have 8 power there. That is currently 9 for me to confront.
but that I guess then the face off isn't actually confronting because the eccentric is being that effective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Taco Tuesday. Got it.
That is now eccentric 4.
11 for me to confront that.
And he's going to confront for a additional card. Although he would have gotten it with Gabby anyways, so it's not like it's a huge point of order, but still.
Mm-hmm. His main does still flip as well. All in all, pretty good turn. Unless Aura is not gonna process its own limit. Oh, there we go. All right.
There we go.
Sure. What did you put in your hand? Oh, Silver Stream. Okay.
I almost would put the pinky too, just as a way to get rid of the day shifts later, and just as a card to pitch to Sonata.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's an argument for that.
Okay, till the end of the turn.
So, Ivory does have work to do, given he's got 4 eccentric to overcome, and or wait, no, he is confronting lead actress. Well, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's Antoine. I can't. What? So needs 11 power there?
You have 1 token remaining.
I think that might be enough now. And
Yeah,
yeah, he's got it.
3, 4. Yeah, 7 total.
And
Well,
Sonata.
That's not enough to stop a Sonata steal, because that will drain 2.
I am meeting those requirements. I will proceed to score phase.
7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think he's got enough through Sonata.
I'll do
Because when Sonata goes away, the eccentric goes down.
Oh, right.
Antoine, and then have Antoine eat himself for no other effect.
sure. That will put him down to 6. I'm still just barely meeting that.
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm definitely meeting it because she's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Fair
because it
enough.
was going to start either way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get rid of Antoine.
Oh, yeah, and he could have eat the cheese shoes with Brian, too. So, like, that was a very strong coming out from Aura, but with double day shift, it's just so hard to fight the AT advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just gonna move them there and them.
Yeah, do the one. Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, because next turn, we've got the Thorax.
Right, and that means Thorax's effective home limit gets so high too. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. Like day shift, and that means there's that many more critters for Thorax.
Like yeah, usually you can at least take comfort in the fact he goes down to 7 after a face off. But nope, he can stay up at 9, 10, 11 power, whatever, no problem.
Yeah, well, what's it matter? I'm just gonna have all the power in the world at all times.
Oh wait, no, that is supposed to be 6. This is here.
You're pretty much right. Prism.
It doesn't matter which one.
Which
It'll
one's
be.
the critterist?
Uh,
That's the important part.
that is very much Thorax state right now. But
It's still yellow.
if we were in an Ultra Instinct method, though, it's supposed to be the comeback method, not just the let me destroy you.
Sure.
Because we are currently sitting at what? 9 to 3?
8 is my count.
Tori.
Ivory.
And he got 2, 3, 5 points last turn, which is just such a massive burst.
It might be 9.
I think it is 9 because he was at 4 and double confront, 2-point bonus, and
I forgot the Bunyip point, yeah.
Bunyip, yeah.
Retired, and this is
Retired, that's banished.
okay.
But yep. Sonambo's blindfold being tossed to Sonata made a lot of sense. I almost want no, because then the eccentric wouldn't have been there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But those. Oh, getting rid of Brian.
Well,
Like.
getting rid of something, and Brian took the fall. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. As opposed to a day shift. Brian's got so much text on him, I always forget that he's gotten another ability.
No,
And there's the card he needs.
I'm playing it out for amusement at this point because it's very obvious that I'm dead. You go away.
But hey, that's familiar.
Killed me yet? You will. Working on
Ivory got his.
tokens. I can't defend.
He's at 7 now, I think, because he confronted.
Okay, then yeah, I'll just make it fast.
6. There's Bunyip. GG.
Yeah.
That was just.
That was, yeah, Ivory, Ara getting dismantled.
Those, I'm like, I'm not playing them. I'm not. There's no reason to. I have 2 day shifts.
Yeah.
Proof that day shift should be rebanned. Is that what we're looking at here?
Could very well be. Yeah.
Or it just
Like, day shift just is so much forward momentum. I know they did it to give Yellow some aggro, but I wonder if day shift's one of those cards where she's just too swingy.
I don't need them. Day shifts is just gonna do the work for me.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. She's just worth so much AT over the course of a game.
And not just AT, but tempo, because you get to, after a double confront, threaten to win the face-off.
I'll get the Chinese card with the wax on it.
Yeah.
But and because that was something I always liked about my chaos farm, is that late game I could win the face off on my opponent's turn, and that just gets you such acceleration, especially when there's a 2-point or 3-point problem out. And it just, day shift does that exact same thing.
Right.
And it's just so terrifying.
It's the difference between, like, standard aggro match, oh, you win the face off, I win the face off, and maybe one of us runs out of tempo at some point. No, now it's I win a face off, and then I win a face off, and then I win a face off, and then I win a face off.
And I didn't spend any AT to win any of those face-offs. I didn't even spend cards, except which were already on the field.
Yep.
Behold, everyone, we are looking at the Pukwudgie deck check.
There we go.
Clearly, the epitome of all power.
Yeah, I think Ara ran Pukwudgies in Highlander. Why he has that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it does supersede the Highlander rule, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it always does. The cards that say that tend to. That's a curious thing to do.
Pukwudgies is always a curious thing to do.
At no point is Pukwudgies not something that you're like, I think if Pukwudgies were on power, it might be a deck which it could do some stuff, but the starting under power just, I think, really kills it. Or even if it was a one power 2 cost rather than a 2 power 3 cost, that would have helped a lot too.
I mean, yeah, if they were a little bit cheaper, it would be pretty darn good.
1 cost Pukwudgies with 0 power, but they get +1 power for each other Pukwudgie.
Ugh.
What are cheese and
I drop 4 Pukwudgies and refill my hand with Gabby.
You could do that, couldn't you? Because you can actually search for pink cards.
Yeah.
Evidently, we're going to have bug on bug violence.
Oh,
Sounds like Kevin is doing well in his match with Cheese then.
and that Instagram lost. Well, so in our thorax beatdown, I guess it's a matter of
I
who gets day shift.
We'll see. I think these decks are. I mean, I don't know if we've seen. Wait, we have seen Kevin's list. Yeah, let me go have a look. Because I think these are basically exact mirrors.
I think I was hearing that there's a couple card differences, but nothing major. Raccoon, Antoine, Kind Pony. Oh, he crossed out the focused attention for the day shift. That's what happened.
Okay. But no focused attention, which is broadly irrelevant in this matchup.
Yeah, it's probably been a sideboard card for sure. Snack stand, scary story, adoption options, unset, defend, birds of a feather, featherweight, kind as can be, bad hair day, Yona, Gummy, Brian, Trihorn, Bunyip. Yeah, that looks pretty standard. I'd be almost surprised if there was anything outside like one or two cards that really was different.
Yeah. And actually, Ivory just giving us an update that it is a close game over there. So, I don't know if anyone will celebrate this, but we might have Mill in the finals. Who knows?
And if that's the case, Cheese will be up against Thorax yet again, and they'll have to go through the Thorax beatdown once more. So the thing is, this isn't even necessarily proof that Mill's not doing insane. This might just be proof that Day Shift lets stupid things happen.
It's true. It's true. This might just be the proof that, like, yes, Mill had control of the meta, and if you unleash yellow aggro all over everything, sure, I suppose there's no Mill anymore, but that may not be what we actually want.
Yeah. Supposedly, Bugle, he did go 5-0, and I can't imagine he missed both Thoraxes, so he must have beaten it at least once in theory. But I wonder if he would have beaten double Day Shift.
Don't know if there's much that does.
Triple Day Shift on the opposite side.
Yeah, I guess.
That is true. If we do have day shifts on both sides, what we might see is intense face-offs, double confront face-offs every turn on both sides, fighting for the bonus points.
Starts to turn into a game of Magic. Nothing leaves play. Everyone just plays more stuff, and we just keep having face-offs.
The boards just keep getting bigger and bigger. Either way, it should be a fascinating game to see, and depends on how fast it goes too. We might be out of here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we might. We'll see. Might actually get into scheduled time somehow.
Yeah. If Thorax just slams up against Thorax, then there certainly will be no real concern about it. But You know, it is funny. Changelings have been the talk of uh, this event. Because we had another thorax that took ninth. So there was one thorax that was waiting just outside in the wings too.
Right, that being Max.
That was Bite Wave from yesterday, our very last game.
That's right. Yes. Oh, there's thorax all over the place then. My goodness.
And that would have booted Ara down, and we would have had 3 thoraxes in the top if no, maybe it might not have booted Ara down. I don't know how that would have changed for Bite Weave and Fizzban, but with Fizzban at number 3, I would have thought he would have stayed in top 8, but maybe not. But either way, it will be. We'll see just how much the bug survives after all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I actually had an interesting trigger ordering question that came to me earlier. I didn't want to bring up in case, just in case we needed time to fill. Sorry to delve once again into the minutiae of the rules. Do you remember, or know precisely well what the definition, what the ordering is when triggers get resolved? Like who gets to choose what order to do them in?
I believe it's turn player for their own trigger, and then the owner of the opposing triggers, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, that would be the unfortunate order. The situation I'm thinking of is with that Cozy Glow Troublebreaker we mentioned earlier. At the start of a face-off, someone has to retire their friend involved in the face-off. If you challenge it with your main, but you have that Ember at home that jumps into a face-off at the start of a face-off, then the ordering of the triggers matters, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because she is technically involved in the face-off and can be would be dismissed by Cozy Glow from wherever.
Yeah. So if it is as you had stated, then Ember jumps in first and then gets retired. Which I think that's how I remember it working too. Yeah.
That sounds the most right. It doesn't come up a lot, but on occasion. And none of our white decks made it to top 4.
Not even. Yeah.
And GP ended up losing to Kevin.
I apologize. That's right. Yeah.
So,
So it may be actually, yeah, that the only thing we learn about Mill from this tournament is that it loses to Thorax with Day Shift in the meta.
yeah, and that because I think the deck already had somewhat lost to Thorax just because sometimes the deck wasn't fast enough, and Thorax could just get a bunch of points. But I think the Day Shift turns things up by like 3 turns. So it is an impressive amount of speed that you get out of Day Shift. So the only correct thing to do is start making Day Shift for AT, and then we'll see how much value people get out of her, which I think she's still playable at 4.
think so. Yeah. Like it gets a little bit more. It's definitely much worse of an early gameplay, or at
Yeah.
least more questionable.
You're not being able to confront with her early and then start the face off nearly so well. But the thing is as soon as she's on the field, she pushes up two friends. She's paid for herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
not like she isn't valuable still at that stage. But she came from an era where yellow really needed a lot, and she was the lot that they gave to yellow, and then they continued to give stuff to yellow, and then yellow ended up having too much stuff.
No, it was the other way around. Because like yellows, Thorax and Bunyip, those were defenders, and then she came in Sequestria the next set.
But Thorax and Bunyip weren't actually that playable when they first came out.
They weren't. I feel like there was a little bit of because Yellow had been bad for an extremely long period of time before that set.
Yeah.
Like it had been effectively written off, and I'll betcha it probably was more competitive in Defenders than people gave it credit for, just because people didn't even look at it.
Yeah, there was some experimenting with Thorax, but he was not a terror at that point in any way or shape.
But then, yeah, Day Shift was the one that put it over the top. And then Friends Forever gave us Friends Forever gave us Meadowbrook, and then we were
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Meadowbrook, the card that single-handedly destroyed Farm for so long.
Yeah, and the color has not looked back since, really.
Yeah, between Meadowbrook and then the Day Shift ban later. But like Yellow still continued to get very good, strong aggro cards. I mean, Crankoshai, Birds of a Feather still is one of the top. Like, it passes the Thunderlane test, and for a deck that was already strong. And then you had Antoine to help be your accelerant into her as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which in part was what made Thunderlane so strong back in the day.
Yeah, I think if we do end up with Thorax versus Thorax in the final, that's the kind of match that I would like to see. Is one where one guy gets the Day Shifts and the other one gets like a Fluttershy and an Antoine or something, and we just get to measure these two amazing lines against each other.
Right, the two different packages inside that make Thorax so very good. Freaking, the other thing is, Featherweight just gives the deck all the reach it needs, and no longer has to worry about card draw in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Which Yellow used to have to do, but the Eager mechanic has proven to be exceptionally good.
Being able to draw 2 cards per turn for free is real good. I feel like we banned a main once for doing that.
We banned 2 mains once for doing that. The other being the Twilight that gave you an AT.
Right. That's right.
We have some word about Kevin to cheat. Kevin just has to close it out 13 to 5 against Cheese, but against the mill deck, that sometimes can be harder than it sounds.
Yeah, that's the thing. We know the scoreline: 13 Kevin, 5 points Cheese. Who knows? Maybe Kevin's playing with no cards in his deck, and Thorax and a couple of friends. Who knows?
But there was no blue in the top.
There was
Blue-
no blue. Yeah.
Bluna has fallen by the wayside, and even the extra turn couldn't help keep blue pushing forward.
Can't believe I was. Well, I wasn't here, but I was alive to see the day. No Bluna. In an adventure top 8.
So here's the real question: does Bluna go faster with day shift than Thorax does? But I guess not having to worry about color entry just lets you have so many more threats. And if there's not real good blue yellow cards, because with Defender of the Hive, it's not like yellow needs the movement from blue because it's got that already built in.
Yeah, like Luna yellow can't run Antoine because it's like 5 rec yellow.
Right.
It
It doesn't run Crankoshy either because you don't have enough critters.
Yeah, and you don't get as much benefit out of them. In exchange, you get, what do you get in blue that you actually want in a deck like that? And you get Mullet and Dash, of course.
Fluttershy and Chillax.
Is that legal in Adventure?
That's what I'm looking up right now. Blue and yellow. Alright, our blue and yellows are still strong, available. Strong Heart, Fleetfoot, nope.
Oh, Shoeshine. That's a card that exists in blue and yellow.
Shoeshine, Philly Racers, Vapor Trail, with Calming 2 and your character's dilemmas have +1. There's Words of Encouragement, which is okay. 1 for 2 power, Swift.
Yeah, so yeah, it would be Pegasus aggro. We've seen that from time to time.
But that probably just isn't as good as just Thorax being a constant, ever-present threat.
So I think I heard, based on the background sound, that Kevin might have pulled it out.
Prism Light pointed out a true friend and saved the day. As events.
True.
I think there definitely is a good Luna deck, but
Adventure is still a bad format.
Alright, before I go, I'm gonna visit Bio.
That's fine.
Alright. Well, Ivory's here at least.
you also get Rocket Cavalry.
Oh, yeah.
In its new, far weaker form, but... And... I don't... How good is Dangerous Mission Outfit with Daybreaker? Or not Daybreaker, New Celestia.
Remind me what that card does?
When you move that character to a problem, your other characters there each get +1 power until the end of the turn. I suppose it doesn't because...
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it works.
Day shift is at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's great with dilemmas and day shift.
Yeah.
A little bit again. I used to always do that. Well, I did it last night for Odyssey. I forgot that it's actually really fun in there.
But...
I just haven't.
So I think
I'm already deaf enough.
probably Ivory's opponent has just stepped out for a quick break.
Now,
Yeah,
whatever
I have no doubt.
going to make a difference.
To be fair, it would. I think Kevin has been kind of shut out of the top recently, so it's nice to see him spike up again. So
Yeah, I
as a
can't.
player,
I don't think I remember the last time I've seen him in a final. Often in top eights, but
yeah, you'd normally be hit out at the top 8,
Max volume at all times.
but the power of the thorax, which is really interesting because before this, thorax had lost twice, 4 times out of 10, and then with bite weave, with the 2-2 and the tie, yeah, that would have been. Thorax ended up losing 3 different times, or 6 different times out of 15 matches.
mm-hmm.
But this right now, it's just going all the way to the top. Against decks that we very much were considering had some serious power to them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had always kind of thought that Thorax, when well built, would have at least have a chance against Mill. Seems to have much more of a chance.
I want to see Kevin's deck.
Well, much more than just a chance.
No, I actually do. I don't know the differences, but we are running different lists.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
There's
And the thing is like, the Mills deck only option to a big board ends up being trying to
it's right there.
board wipe it.
Mm-hmm. And the board wipe is school shutdown, which is not
Okay, it's actually not as different.
not what the Mill deck wants to do.
You have geeses, I don't.
That was a meta call for Continentals, and I just never bothered to change it.
I just didn't like how high the rec was.
Did you hear what he said that
The thought process was you
You said that Ivory has the guard geese,
right?
and
Okay.
that's I think the only significant difference between their decks.
down to 2 card slots.
Which is probably just a sideboard anyways in this matchup.
Lost to
Mhm.
a friend. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. 1 and 1.
Fair enough.
So yeah, this is gonna come as we had said. Gonna come down a lot to draws, a lot to problem flips, bonuses at the right time.
For the geese, I liked both.
So, shall we flip a coin for who wins?
Plus, it makes
I'm going to say Thorax.
I'm going to say that the loser is going to be Day Shift.
I don't know if I want to take this bet.
that after that last match, we're just kind of like, yeah. Day
Yeah,
Shift is
we get to enjoy our time with her, brief as it may be.
I mean, I wonder if Day Shift is a problem if you don't have such a huge heavy beater like Thorax.
I'm not cutting yours.
Okay, I'm good.
Probably not as big of a problem,
Oh no.
but she was played in every yellow deck,
She's
like
Yeah.
all the time back in the day, right? So
I mean, yes, she was in every yellow deck.
going to win.
It's just one of those things where it's. I'm not sure that
I guess you've already seen your hand.
her worst part is that she's exists as much as the value that she gets off of Thorax.
Though.
Yeah. Think I'll go first.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Kevin will be going first.
I'll keep that.
Yeah, I could not play the hand at all. It was nice having two.
Oh, and I'm gonna assume it's Buckball on Kevin's side too.
Yeah, it's always fuckball.
I started the game with 2 day shifts in my hand, and then I proceeded to draw all 3 birds of a feather, and I'm like, I'm never gonna play these. I don't need to.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of just.
Sometimes you just have all the luck.
Why do I need birds of a feather?
Are you ready?
I have day shift. There's a gummy there,
Saw a gummy for sure, yeah.
which means like any other 2-power. If there's 2 gummies, it's a turn 1 confront and flip.
Yep.
And turn.
Okay. We are underway.
There's a kind pony there too, so the flip on Thorax is almost guaranteed for Kevin.
Score face confront.
Yep.
There we go. I think these guys have been through the motions on these decks quite a bit by now.
And man, I wonder if just being the first to a problem is going to just alter the course of this entire game, or if it Kevin will be able to keep up just because he's got 1 or 2 more AT.
Please wait until Ari gets back.
And I'll put Brian back in your hand.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's going to come down
Alright, go ahead.
to the disruption, I think.
Draw for turn.
And that kind
Yeah,
pony
and-
is a little bit.
And pushing it up, at least there's 1 AT value off of kind pony. Not sure it's the most important, but
Yeah. Although we'll see now. Now is when power plays will start coming down. There is day shift in Ivory's hand for sure. And I see one in Kevin's hand as well.
yep, and he's holding it right at the edge. Kevin's also got 2 birds of a feather. But I think birds just might not be worth it.
With 3 now, right?
We got day shift rolling. But the bunyips are huge.
Snack. Yellow. Yep.
Okay, snack stand's pretty important too.
Yeah. It's trying to accelerate out a little bit faster. And just staying on his own problem. No setup for like a confront or anything.
Well, right now, since it's single day shifts for everybody, face off is a double face off would be a wash. Now Ivory's got the day shift advantage. And the bunyip advantage. Okay. That's strong.
Yeah, because he just sits on the bunyip, unfrightens bunyip, and does the confront and forces Kevin to have the double confront because he has such an advantage with the double day shift.
Yeah. There is an Antoine in Kevin's hand.
To go for that's incredible because you put if you can get the birds of a feather out, you sacrifice the token off Antoine, you get the birds of a feather, and you'll be able to confront. No, you're one power short. I was gonna say confronting without putting without exhausting birds of a feather till post double confront.
Right.
But that's not. Oh, it does work because of snack stand.
It's not the line he took.
Yeah, he shoved day shift back, and I'm still surprised he's sticking so hard to one problem.
Right. Yeah, especially given the fact that the bunyip is over there. if they stay in this sort of diagonal position, that's pretty advantageous to Ivory.
Yeah, because he just unfrightens Bunyip this turn and then plays Day Shift next turn.
I think so.
Because it's not like Day Shift's... An additional Day Shift is not huge right now due to the lack of friends. And the point advantage of, Bunyip could be very big.
Ivory looking at his hand, though. I think he's interested.
And we're
in...
at 0 bonus points, so it's not like the face-off is a major issue to try and win, so just go for the point push.
Yeah. That'd be something if we are Thorax versus Thorax and we stay on starting problems the whole game.
Right up until the last, double confront. I mean, against Day Shift, it's like you don't want to move too much.
But yeah, Kevin's hand is Antoine, 2 Fluttershies, and I think it's an Angel between there.
Oh yeah, throw Angel down on the confront, put Antoine down, and then double confront with the Fluttershy in the upright position, and then afterwards you put a bunch of tokens up so that you're facing off. You've got a bunch of power for the upcoming flips.
Oh my goodness. So that Fluttershy play brings... Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ivory now has 2 point accelerators on the field.
Massive. Ingenious play.
Score phase attempt. Unity 15, get another point. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the ordering that you can pull off with Antoine and Fluttershy is just crazy.
Yeah, it does put 6 AT for Kevin, and he's got to catch up in some fashion.
Yeah, that Yona he drew is useless. Bunyip is something, but probably not enough at this point.
He's just going for draw. I'm not quite sure what he's drawing for.
And yeah, he seems intent on this. Okay. Another day shift down. It's gonna be 2 points for him.
I mean, it does get him some point acceleration, but there's not a huge board push that could have happened. And Ivory's got an additional accelerant.
Yeah, if he just unfrightens Bunyip, he's gonna score 3 points this turn. Or, well, he might not be over the Unity anymore. Oh my goodness.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Rally Bunyip. Score phase. Yep. Confront Bunyip, and then both of these fire, going to 10 points. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kevin needed to get him off in some way or fashion, needed to get some more point acceleration through double confronts.
Yeah. Wowee.
I'm laughing.
Needed to go for wins off the...
Okay, well, that's to defend the Hive. He can do a DFO with no day shifts in play, which is something at least.
Oh yeah, and he's the only one with a day shift. And I think he's already drawn down past being able to play Birds of a Feather.
Yeah, the problem is that you can't, there are no points on this face-off. You really want that day shift, or sorry, that defend the Hive to secure a DFO once some points show up after these problems flip.
But no points are going to show up if nothing is done.
Yeah.
And Ivory has no incentive to. He's getting 4 points of turn. So he just confronts the other problem and wins next turn.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Kevin has to DFO here if he can.
He does have the
Alright, that's him. Yep.
action, but
Yeah, he's doing it with the defend the hive this turn.
That's him. Mm-hmm. Face off doesn't really matter.
Face off doesn't matter, but you gotta flip it. Brian's.
yeah, Brian's are a thing.
That does suck for Kevin though.
You flipped a Bunya.
Ooh, that is very rough.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 10, 14, 16, 20, 23. Okay, so no.
Right, yeah. Only counting in case they need to flip again.
Right. If it is a tie, then they do have to worry about that. But
What did he... Did Kevin say critter?
I did not hear, but
Name a trait. Critter.
might have said Pegasus.
No, he said critter just now. Yeah, he's certainly got more Pegasi in play right now.
I'll get rid of my Fluttershy.
Okay, well, now it's all critters.
Is that the correct move? Yes, that's fine. No, I can keep one. Nope, token. It's fine.
But that's gonna drop Thorax's power down quite a bit.
4 up to 5 and draw.
So it is a lot harder for Ivory to take advantage of all that point acceleration sat home now. So he is going to slow down at least a little bit here.
But moves, if he just moves Thorax and one of them, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 off the bonus. And if he's got, a Bunyip in hand, or another way to move the other one easily, it is... If he's got a Defend the Hive, he wins. If he's got a Bunyip, he...
Right, and he's got 4 critters potentially at home for that Antoine if he wants to accelerate into something.
I hate to say it, but I think Kevin had a shot with playing the Birds of a Feather, but maybe he was concerned about a bird being bounced, and so he didn't want to invest into it, if that was the case.
Right. So Ivory did play, he does have Defend the Hive, he did play it. That Thorax does have Agile now, if he needs it.
Now thinking. Push Fluttershy up? You still get the double confront, and then you get the additional point, which should be sufficient.
Yeah. He does, like, Kevin does 1 AT left over. So he will be thinking about Scary Story, probably most.
Yeah, Scary Story is the hardest hitting piece here.
Day Shift he's thinking about. It's a little interesting.
I wonder if he's just enchanted with Day Shift. I mean, I can't blame him. Or if he's thinking this secures a win if Thorax does get shot to 0, and Kevin tries to go for like a double.
That problem, yeah.
Okay. So that goes over there.
Sure. You want to do something else?
Well, if that's gone into play, a confront has happened.
Yes.
So, both trigger, because I'm...
Which pushes up to 11, but that is...
No, yeah, it's more because the Fluttershies do still trigger.
Oh, they trigger from home?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Oh my gosh.
needs to have happened.
Yes, that's not the issue.
Okay.
I think he's trying to decide if he's doing anything after like points.
It would have to be after.
So that does put him up to what, 14 points? Which means
13, I think.
When the front is having completed its
13. But that's still that's always game next turn.
then you have triggers that you process.
Uh,
I am willing to pass priority. So now he can choose to Fluttershy into play or
Sure, or do whatever.
Okay, so I think, yeah, Kevin took back the Fluttershy, which I had incorrectly called Angel at first. My mistake.
we all understand.
Actually, no. Doing that.
Ivory's triggers have still processed, which makes sense. Those would have processed before Kevin had his options.
As long as he let the confront go through.
Yes.
But unless there was a scary story, there was no option.
I'm just gonna get rid of the day shift.
Okay.
Okay.
I will still do that after that.
Yeah, and that still applies. But yeah, Ivory just agiles over his thorax, right?
That is a priority action.
I think so, yeah. Because then that's just 3 points off the confront.
Am I missing this? Right? No. This is a trigger. You must process your triggers before any player gets priority.
Okay.
Okay. So you can still do those actions.
Yes.
That's fine, but you need to do them in the proper order. Angel is a trigger. If Angel is in play, Angel is going into play before you're taking any action.
Yes.
Okay. Angel
Yeah.
goes into play.
That's.
Do you want Angel going into play?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Oh,
Play on Sat.
there we go. Even Grandpa's is saying Angel.
It's not the most confusing card printed.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure at this point I've missed my trigger. I've realized after I said I passed priority that I didn't do that.
Right.
So
You're also not passing priority. You're just choosing not to process the trigger because, again, you haven't even gotten to that.
Getting some great lessons on triggers.
it's
But yes, this is just pay 2 to move thorax, right?
Yeah. And that should be a win.
Yeah, this is just one. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
You're at 13?
Mm-hmm.
6. Oh, right.
If
So you'll get 2 points. Yep.
So yeah, 2 points to Kevin. And we'll see. Seems like
If
this is just
the-
Ivory's game.
well, if Swain comes up, Ivory's got no AT. That's what came up on Ivory's side.
It wasn't swaying. It was distracted lead actress.
Oh, yeah, that goes from possible to terrible. And Kevin missed the day shift triggers.
He did. Wow. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. The day shift triggers mixed. I don't think he's got any shot.
You may move. That's yeah. I missed that trigger already.
But yeah, there's 3 points available.
There's no way of catching up.
Oh, there we go.
What was your score?
He's at 9, but he forgot to process day shift.
I mean, even if I did process day shift, I don't have the point generation I need.
So it wasn't. That didn't really come down to who had the day shifts.
No. It came down who had the insane point acceleration, because we didn't even have a double until the very end.
Yeah.
By the time we got any kind of value out of day shift, the game was more or less decided.
To unsat day shift before the confront transpired. If you unsat a day shift, he would have not been in excess of 5 power of the problem, and the points wouldn't have. But because you put Fluttershy into play already,
Yeah, Grandpa's just pointing out that
that's what I was trying to get
Yeah, the unset before the confront would have been huge for
Okay, Thorax.
Kevin if he'd done it.
Two,
Because it would have dropped the wreck early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those Fluttershy triggers wouldn't have gone through.
Yep. Yep. Well, Thorax v Thorax. It happened. In which Thorax beat down Thorax. And there's just so much point acceleration, so much confront speed in the deck. It's a hard one to fight. And Thorax is just so large.
Yeah. All right, so I don't know if we have any post
I bet the commentary
content.
like triggers miss, triggers miss. He didn't put a critter in play. He didn't rotation. It's not a real finals if someone's not missing all their triggers. Thorax won.
And it's the way these things go. There would have been triggers all over the place, no matter who ended up in the final.
Yep. Yep. And there's a lot of triggers in these decks to worry about and be concerned with, but either way, I mean, and at this stage, you know, your brain's just melted from the multiple
Yeah.
games.
It was a question of
24 hours of pony cards.
is he
That'll do it to you.
want to dig to see if he can keep
Yep. Well, thank you all for joining us on Thorax Beats Up the World.
Yep. We'll have more of that come the summer, I'm sure.
which is
Season, what is this? This is like season 3 of Thorax Beats Up the World by this point.
Definitely, I'm curious if we'll see more boxes, if we'll see more other orange just to exhaust out Thorax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a world like Orange,
Thorax wins. Yeah.
Orange, with Limestone, like kind of the kind of deck that Instagram was running.
Right.
Should have a fair time of it, given like
Well-
how little disruption Thorax runs these days.
It's all good.
But I mean, Thorax still just beats your face in too. And the other thing is that deck has Yona, so Yona's just gonna shove all the threats that Orange has back into the hand that it spent so much time on.
Yeah, that's true.
So you would need like a main based orange pink deck. And I have one of those. It's really fun, but it loses to Mill really, really badly. But
So we come
By the
through
way-
all this, and your request is still that we get rid of Mill.
no. I said nothing of the sort.
Sure. Yes. No. I get you.
It's Mill is the controlling factor of any of the control decks that I think might be able to handle Thorax, but I don't even know that's true because Thorax just has hands, and not uncommon hands, that just dumps on the board and gets a wide threat and a tall threat at the same time, which ends up being just so powerful.
This weekend, Cursed, this is your fault.
What? Someone blame me for something.
Ivory getting Tia points, maybe Kevin.
We'll see. But yeah, we have.
You can scan the QR code.
I guess yeah. There's no special announcement or anything coming about spoiler cards or whatever. Had a question in my mind. Maybe they were going to drop some information about the next set at the end of the stream, but guess not. Which means I can say thank you to everyone in our chat for coming out and joining us on this Sunday afternoon or morning or whatever it is. wherever you are in the world. Once again, apologies for those technical difficulties we had to start off the day. But we were able to bring you some fine action for later rounds, at least.
In which we got to see Thorax for 3 rounds straight.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's going to happen when you're Thorax v Thorax at the very end, but
Yeah. We learned a lot about day shift today, and how it maybe shouldn't. Maybe it was right not put her in the first time.
maybe it was right to keep day shift out of the meta.
All right. For the meantime, as I said, thank you everybody. Commentaries Magic is going to be back on the air, I think. Well, I don't know exactly, but they'll be back on the air at some point to talk about the results of this event and their thinking on it. In the meantime, I am going to be on with Hithrock in a couple of weeks. My own stream, Meticulous Talks. I don't know. You don't have any content to plug, do you, Fancake?
Nope. I unfortunately do not get into the content machine that often. I spend all my time on D&D.
Fair enough. Well, anyway, I think that's been us for BABSCon 2024, and we will leave everyone to the rest of their weekends. I've been Cursor Chords.
And that's been Pancake. Y'all have a good one.
Bye bye, everyone.